Well, earlier I spoke to the Irish Finance Minister, Brian Lenihan. I began by asking him whether he could guarantee that Ireland wouldn't have to go to the European Union for a bailout.
Absolutely. We intend to return to the markets next year and we intend to fund ourselves. That's our plan. We have put our public finances on a sustainable basis in the last 2 years. We have done massive corrections in our public debt and our deficits, and we will continue to do so. As you know, our public service wage rates were reduced by 14% on average. And in addition to that, we improved our general wage levels in the Eurozone by 7%. We've become more competitive, and our exports have grown about 6% this year alone.
Why don't people believe you?
Well, it's not a matter of belief or non-belief with respect. Markets make their assessments, and they're entitled to do that.
Yes, and their assessment is that Irish debt is very, very expensive.
That's their current assessment, but the government is taking the steps to resolve our difficulties both in the banking and on the public finances side. We have a strong underlying economy. We're moving into a balance of payments surplus next year, so we're paying our way in the world. Unlike some of the other sovereigns that have difficulties in Europe, we are moving into that balance of payments surplus. We have difficulties and we have a plan to deal with those difficulties, and we need time to work out that plan.
And when I said to you, can you guarantee you won't have to go to Europe for a bailout, you said, yes, you are unequivocal. This is a guarantee. You are cast iron, 100% certain your strategy is going to work without any need for further help.
No. Listen, let's be clear about this. We've had great help from Europe already. We have some transfer payments still from Europe in our own public finances in the form of agricultural subsidies and support for social programmes. And of course, nobody can give a 100% guarantee. No state can give a 100% guarantee of anything in the modern world. You've seen how in the United Kingdom the government has had to take very drastic measures indeed to stabilise the position of the pound and ensure that the public finances are put on a sound footing. And it will be a brave man who can predict anything. But what I am saying is that we have put our finances, and we are putting our finances on a sustainable level, as we are putting our banks on a sustainable level. As far as the issue of the recent increase in bond spreads is concerned, and there has been a dramatic increase in bond spreads in Ireland in recent weeks, it's entirely caused by the fact that doubt has been cast in certain European statements about whether peripheral European states will be allowed to repay their sovereign debts. Now, we've made it a cardinal plank of our policy that we intend to pay our debts as a state. We will pay our way, and we're determined to do that.
Wouldn't your assertion be rather more plausible were this crisis not entirely the consequence of your own incompetence?
I don't accept that at all. I've been the Minister for Finance here since 2008, dealing with these problems, tackling them on a daily basis, and making considerable progress in that regard.
Well, had you not taken the decision to bail out the banks, you wouldn't be in the mess you're in now, would you?
No, that's entirely incorrect, because one of the biggest problems in Ireland has not been the banks, but the very wide gap between public expenditure and public receipts. It's about 19 billion this year. The cost of bailing out the banks on an annualised basis for the next 10 years is about $1 billion a year, so there's $1.5 billion a year. So there's a very wide disparity there.
When you look at it from where you sit and you look back over the last 10 years of the sort of country that Ireland believed itself to be, and you look at the mess, the desolation around you now, it's a very sad end, isn't it?
No, I don't accept it's the end, and I don't accept its decimation. We have a workforce of 1.9 million. That's twice what we had 20 years ago. We have a huge workforce. It has shown huge adaptability in the present crisis. And the government are not asking people to bring their living standards back 10 years. With respect, our tax receipts went back to 2003 levels. We'll have to increase and augment them to 2005, 2006 levels. And we'll have to adjust our expenditure the same way. That's not devastation or decimation.
In the process, you've lost your sovereignty.
We haven't lost our sovereignty. We've always shared our sovereignty with our European partners. And you know, Ireland has always been linked to a fixed currency arrangement. We're currently linked with the euro. We were linked with sterling for more than 150 years. Small countries don't have the luxury of having a separate currency. They link themselves to another currency. There's nothing unusual about that.
Minister, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the natives in